This Wolverine let down his entire world.
The Deadpool and Wolverine trailer was insane and gave us our first good look at Hugh Jackman's Wolverine back in the claws, and in that classic yellow suit. Our breakdown for the trailer is up on the channel right now, but in this video I wanted to address our burning questions following this new trailer. Which Wolverine is this? What happened to his universe? And who opened that Mystic Arts portal that we see Deadpool and Wolverine jumping through? I'm also going to share with you who I think Wolverine could be talking to when he says,
"Trust me, kid, I'm no hero."
And a little later, I'll be joined by our good friend Tommy Bechtold and ScreenCrush's very own Brianna McLarty to get their thoughts on the trailer and hopefully some answers to some of the biggest questions we all have coming out of that new trailer. And during our conversation, we stumbled across what we think could be a massive Avengers Secret Wars setup in Deadpool and Wolverine. But first, here are my thoughts. This trailer was very much so the Wolverine trailer. The first trailer we got, it was a teaser that primarily focused on the Deadpool of it all. But we have to remember, this is not Deadpool 3, this is very much a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Now, we're still not entirely sure exactly which version of Wolverine we're getting in this movie. I mean, never before have we seen Hugh Jackman don the yellow suit, which implies that this is a Wolverine we've never met before. Or that it's the Wolverine from X-Men the Animated Series and X-Men 97. Now, yesterday in our breakdown of the trailer, I pointed out that twice before we have seen Wolverine be one of the few remaining survivors of a mutant erasure, both in Days of Future Past and in Logan. And here in the trailer, we see Wolverine walking past what our very own Ryan Airy pointed out as tombs of fallen mutants, just like we saw in the Days of Future Past comics. But we learned in this trailer, not only did mutants die, this Wolverine's entire reality died.
This Wolverine let down his entire world.
This sequence by the tombs looks almost like a dreamlike setting, likely a flashback, maybe to the moment when this Wolverine's universe began to crumble and it landed him in a place like the Void, making him the sole survivor of his universe. And speaking of the Void, we've got this awesome Bert and Ernie as Wolverine and Deadpool shirt up on our merch store right now, ScreenCrushMerch.com, as well as the MCU Savior shirt, the Morphs, Doug as Wolverine, and lots of other X-Men inspired merch. Shopping our merch store is the best way to support the channel so that we can continue making videos just like this one. So when the trailer opens, we see Wolverine in a bar, and then Deadpool shows up to bring him in, seemingly at the request of the TVA. But the question is, where is this Wolverine?
Where are you?
Some have speculated that this is a bar in the Void, but I'm not so sure about that. I think that this Wolverine's universe has died, and he survived, and that he was then brought in by the TVA, but he then escaped to another universe or timeline, maybe even to the MCU. Remember, we did see this article back in She-Hulk about a man with metal claws fighting in a bar brawl. So perhaps Wolverine is loose in the MCU, and the TVA has been unable to bring him in, so they sent Deadpool to get him. But I'm still trying to figure out the timing of everything, and when Wolverine goes from wearing this to his yellow suit. And then I think it's pretty clear that something happens that lands him and Deadpool both in the Void. Now, one thing that appeals to me about this movie is that even though Wade isn't an immortal assassin, he still struggles with everyday problems like depression, especially after his breakup with Vanessa. And we've all had heartaches like that, and I have suffered with anxiety and depression for years. That's why I'm telling you that if you're dealing with events like those, therapy can help. Working with a therapist has helped me to understand the core of my anxiety and be a more well-rounded person, because therapists can help you understand why you react with anxiety or anger, and that's why I'm proud that this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp makes it easy to connect you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. To start, use our link in the description and answer a few questions so BetterHelp can match you with a professional. You can have your sessions from your phone, computer, video chat, or messaging, however you feel most comfortable. You'll be matched to a therapist usually within 48 hours so you can get started fast. So let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/ScreenCrush or choose ScreenCrush during your sign up to receive a special discount on your first month. But now I want to bring on Tommy and Brianna to pick their brains about what the hell is going on in this trailer. Alright, so guys, before I get into my questions about the trailer, I just wanted to ask overall, what were your thoughts on this trailer? Actually getting to see Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, not just these little teases. We actually got the face reveal. We saw him. Brianna, what were your thoughts on this trailer? Did it get you even more excited for the movie?
I loved it. I'm really, really excited, and I honestly wasn't expecting to be because Deadpool 2 was not my favorite, and I was just a little worried about how they were going to bring like Wolverine and the X-Men into this sort of like MCU adjacent, or just the MCU in general. And honestly, the way the trailer was shot, the way it was timed, all of the comedic timing worked so well for me. And even just kind of seeing this like down and out Wolverine, instead of just this sort of, I thought he was going to be like a high point, kind of like raw Wolverine. It was just awesome. Like, I'm so excited.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I too thought we were getting like a younger version of Wolverine, but it seems we are getting like this seasoned, like troubled past, been a member of the X-Men, lost them type Wolverine. Tommy, what were your thoughts on the trailer? What do you think it told us about like where Wolverine is at this point in his life, and just what were your overall thoughts on the trailer?
I mean, you could set your clock to it. Wolverine down and out, looking at sitting at a bar, looking depressed, begging for another drink when he gets harassed or harangued by a mutant of some sort. It's we're back, baby. I loved it. I am excited. I echo the sentiments. I like the mature, physically, still terrifying, but not quite as razor sharp. No pun intended. Wolverine. I thought this trailer was a really great. I thought it was one of the more restrained Disney trailers, ironically, with all of the cursing, for a Marvel property that they've ever had, because they showed us plenty in this trailer without really showing us anything, right? Like, we got some big wow moments in this trailer without being like, well, there goes every surprise in this movie. All that I felt afterwards was like, wow, anything's really possible in this movie. Like, they are really, anyone can come back in this movie and it wouldn't surprise me. And anyone could be introduced in this movie and it wouldn't surprise me.
So, Tommy, which Wolverine do you think this is? Is this a brand new Wolverine? Is it the animated series Wolverine, a Wolverine we've met before? Which version of Wolverine do you think we're getting here?
I get the feeling, and I know that this is cross-pollinating a few ScreenCrush talkbacks that I've done, but I feel like this Wolverine is from the Wolverine we saw at from the universe we saw at the end of the Marvels. I think this Wolverine is the Wolverine where we got Kelsey Grammer Beast. I don't know if that's the live-action version of the X-Men animated series. I'm not sure. I think that's still very plausible. However, if that is the case, I have a bad feeling that this universe, this timeline, things have gone very awry in that universe, because it does appear as though Wolverine is the last X-Man standing.
So are you saying, like, okay, so we saw my cat's saying hello.
Your cat is fervently disagreeing with me.
Shush.
You idiot!
Okay, so Tommy, are you saying that universe that we saw at the end of the Marvels, are you saying that since then we are going to have seen that universe have perhaps fallen victim to an incursion, in being the universe that has died?
I think so. I think that may be, and I'm also, which makes me believe we could get Monica Rambeau in Deadpool as well, and I think maybe Kelsey Grammer Beast. I don't know. It seems to me like Beast would be a natural person to like be able to fake their death. Like, he's so smart. Like, he could just hide out and be like, I was just hiding in a library all along in a trench coat. Because for some reason in X-Men lore, if I wear a trench coat, no one knows that I'm not human, or no one knows that I'm not a mutant. But I think it may tie into that universe. It's just a feeling, just a hunch of mine.
Well, I do like the idea of them actually tying some things together. I feel like recently Marvel has given us like a lot of really cool stuff, characters, settings, and different plot lines and stuff. But unlike with the Infinity Saga, it seems like it's been very disjointed. Like, all these cool things aren't really tying together. So I would like to see Deadpool and Wolverine, kind of bring that together.
I have this one, like, this lingering thought in my head that I don't know. I'm sure it's just it'll be revealed. I wonder how much building they're going to do with Deadpool 3 rather than just pruning, no pun intended, because this is an R-rated Marvel film that there are a lot of MCU fans that probably aren't going to be allowed to see it. They're going to have to do the Deadpool, Once Upon a Deadpool PG-13 cut probably a few months later, which I thought was really smart, to be honest. My sister let me take my nephew to the PG-13 one, and he loved it. He didn't really miss out on like jokes that he wouldn't have understood anyway, and it was like I didn't have to have a guilty conscience of taking like a 12-year-old to a hard R-rated movie with jokes that are pretty explicit. So I do wonder if Feige is willing to take the gamble of doing a ton of, sewing together current MCU storylines that are going to project into the future in this movie, simply because it has a more limited audience. Not necessarily to say it's going to make less money, but there are a lot of parents that probably won't let their, at least younger teenage kids or preteen kids see this movie. So I don't know.
Well, I think you probably just made the best argument for these the censored versions of those movies. My nephew is quite a bit younger. He's 4, but I've shown him some bits and pieces of Deadpool, and he loves Deadpool. So yeah, I'd also like to maybe be able to take him to like a cleaner version. I don't think his mom would be too happy if I took him to the standard version.
A lot of new phrases they'll learn.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and he likes to repeat everything he hears. Brianna, back to kind of just that original question. Which Wolverine is this? I mean, he's in his yellow costume. We've never seen this yellow costume in the live-action movies. We saw kind of a version of it at the end of The Wolverine, but I'm getting the impression that this might just be a brand new version, or like Tommy said, could be connected to the animated series, or definitely just a part of that same universe we saw at the end of the Marvels. What are you thinking?
I think that this is an animated Wolverine. I don't know if it's the exact same Wolverine as we saw in, or we're currently seeing in X-Men 97. I think it might be a little bit like Doctor Strange and What If, where we had like the evil Doctor Strange and What If, and then we saw the evil version of him in MOM, but it wasn't like necessarily the exact same character. My guess is that it's gonna be like that, where it's like that's the good thing about having a multiverse, right? Like you have variants of even an animated version of him. My guess is that the Marvel's problems might be kind of similar to another What If storyline where they put Natasha into a world that where she's died. I think the Marvel's post-credit's going to be kind of brought back up at the end, and it's going to be they're going to have problems from inserting Wolverine into that universe, because it seems like everyone in his universe has died, so I don't know exactly how you would have the continuity, but I could definitely see them at the end just being like, oh, we can slot you here because you died in this universe, and then oh no, now the universe is falling apart.
So perhaps when you say an animated Wolverine, you mean maybe a variant of Wolverine that's kind of a mix between the Hugh Jackman Wolverine that we're familiar with, but also with that animated version, maybe like a more comic book type version of the character. So
yeah,
kind of what
so
you're
I guess
saying,
it would be a new one, but
right.
pulling directly from the animated stuff in a way.
So my biggest question, when I was watching the trailer, I was really enjoying it, really excited, when I saw that portal open and Deadpool and Wolverine jumping through that Mystic Arts, Doctor Strange looking portal, I got so excited, and I just immediately started asking myself, who is opening that portal? Because let's keep in mind, the way that works is, any sorcerer can open a portal within the confines of their own reality, but you can't open a portal to take you to a different time or a different universe or anything. It's just like a door to travel through physical space in your own universe. For some reason, Doctor Strange couldn't take them home in Infinity War, but I digress on that. Tommy, who is opening this portal for Deadpool and Wolverine? Where are they going on the other side of it? What are your thoughts?
I think it's a double take. I have 2 thoughts. One, Ned is getting fast and loose with the sling ring in New York City, and we're going to see Ned getting cursed out by Logan or Ned getting cursed out by Deadpool would just be an incredible scene. Also, I mean, taking what we know about where Ned left off at the end of No Way Home, it's he now knows that he has some sorcerer's abilities, right? They're very unpolished, unperfected, and I don't necessarily know that he would know how to move on with them now that without Peter Parker, tying up the gaps between them. But maybe he's still just experimenting and trying to he's going to be a self-taught sorcerer, which is a terrifying idea. But the idea that I really like, and the idea that I think we're being teased with X-Men 97 is Forge. Forge, we saw used some sorcery. He called it desert magic, I believe. And he said his mother practiced it and taught him. I would love live action Forge in this movie. I even have some fan casting. I have 2 actors that I'd like to see in this. One is an actor who received a very, very, very raw deal in the first, the David Ayer Suicide Squad. That's Adam Beach. Adam Beach is Forge. I think he's a great actor. I love him on Law and Order SVU. He's one of my all-time favorites. He's been in so many things, but he's a little older now. I think he's in his like early 50s, and he could kind of command that like wasn't Forge that has seen combat and has been hurt by combat. The other actor is an actor that's kind of a little more known, I think, for like stoic, intimidating roles. Magnificent Seven. I know they were in Westworld, and they were also in 1883. That's an actor named Martin Sensmeyer. And this actor is just like terrifying looking, but is also just like really broad, and like he just reminds me of a superhero in his physical presence. And I think putting the metal on him would just look incredible. So I fan cast those 2. If either of them come to fruition, remember this. But I just want to see live action Forge. Forge is such a cool character. I'm loving him in X-Men '97. He can access, as he's willing to tell you, parts of his brain that other people don't use to create anything. He's like the ultimate. He's like what we're being lied to that AI is, except for he's a human. He's like actual AI, except for he's RI, real intelligence, or Rhode Island. Either way.
So, Tommy, when you say that it's Forge, is it a Forge, or is it X-Men '97 Forge? Is it?
Ooh, it's okay. I want this to. I think I'd rather have this be like a 616 Forge.
Ooh.
Let's get Forge involved, because Forge is not someone that is discovered at a young age by Charles Xavier and brought up through the school of the gifted and talented. Forge is a war veteran who ends up, turning to basically replaces Tony Stark as the U.S.'s top weapons maker once Tony Stark refuses to make weapons in some comic storylines. I'm saying this not as like this isn't the only Forge storyline, but then kind of sees the impact of what he does with it, especially with his neutralizer, and that kind of turns him to be more of a defender of mutants, and eventually makes him a natural recruit. Obviously, his relationship with Storm, which is it happens a variety of different ways in the comics. Usually he ends up with Storm. Usually ends up getting together with Storm, at least, and rehabilitating her from some tragedy. So I love the idea of having Forge. Forge to me is someone who could exist in 616 without having to have been involved, in front of the, us having to have seen their story through, the Battle of Manhattan or anything like that, because they could just be some weapons scientist right now working for the U.S. government, and then we see the moment where they're, completely turned off by whatever that makes them, kind of turn to defending mutants with their abilities. So I want a 616 Forge is what I'm saying. I've talked a lot, so I will yield.
No, please. I like that. Brianna, who's casting that portal?
If you know anything about me, it's that I find Doctor Strange infuriatingly irresponsible. Like, to the point that one of the first videos I wrote for this channel was about how he was going to be a huge issue with the multiverses, because it's like, if you see an incursion, there's like a Doctor Strange nearby. Like, all he does is cause incursions. So I know in my heart of hearts, that's Doctor Strange. Because if this is going to be a story that is messing with the multiverse and like messing things up, he's going to be there. It's almost like unrealistic within the world to not have a Doctor Strange around. Now, will it be our Doctor Strange? I don't know. I think it's a Doctor Strange, though, who is causing more incursions, because that is what that man does. Yeah, I don't like him, but I think it's him.
Okay. Where are they going? That's my question. Where are they going? Because, okay, if someone's casting this portal within the void, my understanding of the void is they are trapped there. Is it possible that they are transporting them to the TVA? Are they just going to another place in the void? Do these characters have the capability to transfer from the void to outside of the void? And let's keep in mind, if you look in the trailer, Eliath is coming toward them. We can see the big purple cloud of Eliath coming toward the giant man's skull, and then Deadpool and Wolverine are jumping out of like the eye socket of Giant Man into the portal. Do either of you have, like a stance on, are they just being taken to another place within the void, or is this their ticket out of the void?
Oh, well, I wonder, so in Loki season 1, they escaped the void because they repaired a temp pack, right?
Right.
That's basically how they got out. So we do know that technology gets you out of the void, can get you out of the void, but we have no proof that magic can get you out of the void, sorcery, right? So
right, and well, I guess they enchanted Eliath, and that's how they got beyond Eliath into the Citadel at the end of time.
Right.
But then, yes, it was a temp pad that got them back to the TVA
but
from there.
Didn't Owen Wilson and get back on his own
Via temp pad.
Yeah, he got back. Okay, I'm just trying to take my brain. This is fascinating for a talkback. Is when I try to remember what happened in a TV show from 4 years ago. But it's really good. We should release a new series. It's just me going, what was the name of the guy with the face and the eyebrows?
Why who?
Yeah. It's called Tommy turned 40 this year and everything went out of his brain. No, I think it would be really cool if they're just stuck in the void and there's a sorcerer. There's some sorcerer supreme or some sorcerer in there who's like just keeps rescuing them from Eliath, but it's just like they can run, but it's like the thing where like there's a slug that will kill you if it catches up to you. So how long can you that like weird? Like,
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Where they're like the only way you could die is a slug that moves really slow, but it's going to stalk you the rest of your life. What do you do to like get away from it? Anyway. That's Eliath in this scenario. Eliath is the slug. No offense, Eliath. You're looking great. I mean, you're staying fit and right. Season for your 3rd appearance in a TV show. So I'm proud of you, Eliath. Maybe on Ozempic, perhaps, Eliath. We don't know.
All right, so Brianna, where's this portal going?
I think it's going to a sanctum, personally, because I'm pretty sure it's Doctor Strange. But I think it might be a sanctum within the void. Because if you think about it, like everything can get thrown into the void. So you could have an entire sanctum thrown into the void, and you could have an evil Doctor Strange there who like has found a way to hide himself and now wants to get out. And he sees these like 2 people, and he's like, "You're my ticket out of here." But he's of course going to do his whole like good guy act and then be evil.
That is a great point. Thank God there's someone throwing good points out here. I'm just spewing. Spewing nonsense.
You know what? It was listening to you and talking about all the portals not working, like they can't get out via portal, that made me be like, who could want to get out of there? And I was like, my favorite irresponsible person.
All right, teamwork. Never mind.
Teamwork.
Partial credit on the group project.
Well, we've seen a multiversal sanctum before in What If Season 2. I think you might be onto something, and I really think what we're going to see in Deadpool and Wolverine is a different side of the void. I think we're going to spend a lot of time in the void. I think those scenes where we're seeing them driving in the car and like in the woods and stuff, I think that's all part of the void. And I really think, and I'll get to who I think might actually be casting that portal here in a sec, but you guys have got me thinking, could this wasteland of the void, this reality at the end of time where so many different things have crash landed, could this be the battle world, which from the comics, could this be the place where we see all of our heroes flung for Secret Wars? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Battle World is like this culmination of like surviving bits of realities where we saw our heroes and villains get sent for the various different versions of Secret Wars. Tommy, what do you think about that? Could the Void be giving us a glimpse of where the Secret Wars battle is going to be taking place?
That makes perfect sense, Colton. I love that idea. I will now spend the remainder of my days until this question is answered believing the Void will become Battle World. Why not? There's so many people. It is Battle World, kind of in its own way. It's like an unassembled Battle World. Like there's just random chunks of universes getting pruned there all the time. We saw Avengers Tower, giant segments of buildings. Even the strange, strange, no pun intended. Again, what's wrong with me today? Sideways architecture from Doctor Strange, the first movie, all there. Yes, I love this idea, Colton. I absolutely love this idea.
Brianna, what do you think? Could we see the different bits of reality that are within the void be used as like a battle world, and then perhaps like a ground zero type scenario where they can reform a new universe, like at the end of Secret Wars, maybe?
Absolutely, and I think it'd be so cool. I'll be honest, I haven't read all of the Secret War comic run, but I think that would... I think with the visuals that we saw in the trailer, for example, like the Mad Max references, that's already kind of giving, like, quite literally, like, a battle world of sorts. And then we're going to have Fantastic Four, and I know that's kind of going to exist in its own thing, but we are going to get Doctor Doom, who could then be like, well, there's a place here that's already, like, kind of in existence. I can just go, like, cobble it together instead of making it from scratch. I think that'd be really cool. That got me excited. I was like, yes. But I don't think we'll see it in this movie. I think this will be, like, the intro to the Void, and then... if we see like a proper battle world, that's going to probably be in the Avengers. I think the Unnamed Avengers is the first one right now. Or is that Avengers Secret War and then Avengers Unnamed?
Avengers 5 and then Secret Wars.
Yeah, I think it'll be Avengers 5.
You know, we've talked about how with incursions and how it's all leading to Secret Wars, how we think that we are going to see our various characters displaced. We're going to see the incursion take place. It's got to all get bad before they can start to get better and save the multiverse. What happens when a universe is destroyed? You wind up in the void. So I think we may have figured that out, guys.
I think we figured a little something out here today, guys.
Teamwork.
Marvel, if you haven't done it,
Colton,
watch.
This is your Michael Jordan flu game, a sports reference on a nerd podcast? Oh, no.
Well,
I think anyone can get the Michael Jordan. I know nothing about sports, and I know Michael Jordan. He plays baseball, right? No, of course I know who Michael Jordan.
He played golf. Yeah. Everything
I didn't know that.
Everything I know about Michael Jordan is from Space Jam.
That's true. Well, famously, Michael Jordan once played a playoff game with like 103-degree fever and scored like 40 points. So they call that the flu game. Colton, here's a little under the weather, our dear friend Colton, and I think he did an amazing job today. So I just say flu game to Colton.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining me. And now, here are my thoughts on... I love Tommy's idea, I love Brianna's idea, but I think I'm right. I think I know who's opening that portal.
So guys, while I think that Doctor Strange, Wong, Forge, and even Ned are great guesses for who may be opening this portal, I think I may know who is really behind it all: America Chavez. In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we met America and learned that she is able to create portals between universes. But it's also at the end of Multiverse of Madness that we see her become a student at the Carmitage.
How is this so much harder than multiversal portal?
So what if America has learned to combine her multiversal traveling abilities with her mystic arts abilities, giving her the ability to create portals between universes, but portals that look like the traditional sling ring portal. See, I was never a big fan of the whole star-shaped portal, so I would be very open to seeing that replaced by the classic orange circle portal, and America having the unique ability to open portals between realities. And I think that could be what they were setting up at the end of Multiverse of Madness. And she could be the kid that Wolverine is talking to in this scene.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero.
You'll notice that he is sleeveless jumping into the portal, and he's sleeveless here when he says that line. And granted, Wolverine is old as so he could just be talking to Wade, but we shall see. But those are just my thoughts. Special thanks to Brianna and Tommy for joining me on this talkback. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, or you can add us on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Colton Ogburn.